Hello, my music-loving friends. We are going to be adding to the inside of your book again today. So let's open up your book, and then we're going to be working with this. This is a bow distribution diagram. So it looks very similar to another diagram that you have, but this line is in a slightly different place, so make sure you have the right one. Okay? So as usual, we are going to start with cutting, and we're going to make it so that these lines are all gone. Let's do it. Starting at the top. Then the bottom. Watch your fingers. And finally, cutting off this piece. Okay, and these scraps go right in the recycling. Okay, now you have this, and before we glue it into your book, we're going to fold it into its own little booklet. So you see I'm holding it like this with the point at the top and the frog at the bottom, and we're going to go up in half like this. So curve it over, line your corners up. I had to reorganize mine a little bit. You'll learn how to kind of move your paper around until it's as neat as you want, all right? Pinch those corners, press it down, use this hand to hold it tight against the table, and this hand to make that fold. And once that fold is started, you can use the handle of your scissors to make that crease very firm. And we're gonna never undo that crease. It's gonna stay there all the time. Now this is going over here, near the middle of your book. You can put it right up to the edge if you want, but not over, okay? So we're putting it in here, and it needs to open like this. So make sure you have it with the point up and the frog down. And since it's time to glue, I'm gonna do what I always do. And on one side, I'll be doing glue stick, and on the other side, I'll be doing liquid glue. So you can follow whichever side works for you. Here we go. Okay, now that you have your bow distribution diagram glued into your book, we're going to be writing on the front of it first, and then we're going to be opening up and drawing on the inside of it. And for this, I'm using pretty standard writing utensils. Maybe I'll use a little black, maybe I'll use a little color, but I'm using something with a fairly fine point so I can write as neatly as possible. So I've used this term a couple times, bow distribution. Let's practice writing it, and then I'll talk about what it means. So let's decide what color you're going to use. I think I'm going to start with black on the front. The first word is bow. You already know how to spell that. That's B-O-W. Now the next word is distribution, which is kind of long, and this is kind of a skinny piece of paper. So we're going to write a little bit smaller. Distribution is spelled like this. Dist, D-I-S-T, R-I, R-I, bu, B-U, shun, which when you hear that in a word is always spelled T-I-O-N at the end of a word. T-I-O-N. Distribution. Bow distribution. And I'm going to underline that, and you should do that too. So what does bow distribution mean? Well, I have my tiny bow again. Now, when we play pieces, A lot of times as a beginner, your teacher has you play in the middle and you do things like goody, goody, stop, stop, or Mississippi hot dog, or pepperoni pizza. Okay, but as you get into your more advanced pieces, for instance, if you're going to play lightly row, you need to use your whole bow. Well, how do you know how much to use? In the beginning, your teacher's going to tell you exactly what kind of bowing to use. And what your teacher tells you to do is bow distribution. So bow distribution is how much bow and which part of the bow you use to make the best tone. Let's write that whole definition on the front here. So it is how much bow and which part of the bow you use to make the best tone. Now, if you're my student, you already know this word tone by now, and tone is the quality of your sound. Are you scratchy and squeaky and squawky? I hope not. Or do you have a smooth and singing sound? Tone describes your sound quality. Now, I just wrote a lot of words there, so this would be a good time to pause the video if you need to catch up on your writing.